The rise of online gambling sites over the past decade has been astronomical. On these sites, gamblers could expect games such as blackjack, slots, and crash, refilling their accounts with virtual currency, predominantly Bitcoin. What if I were to tell you that there's a site where these games are being pushed onto minors, enticed to gamble Robux? Targeting the audience from Roblox's gaming platform, this online casino preys on vulnerable children, whose risk of developing gambling problems is 2 or 3 times as high as adults. With allegations of rigging the odds and founders confronted for making millions off of teenage gamblers, this is the concerning reality of the largest Roblox gambling site, Bloxflip. Let's start at the beginning and remember, the house always wins. A few weeks ago, I visited Plates of Fate on Roblox, a game where players can earn credits for surviving as many events as possible. After a few rounds of the game, I quickly noticed that there were games in the lobby where users could gamble with their earned in-game credits. Although at first glance, these games seemed to be offered for the purposes of passing time between rounds, I observed that many players were hooked onto them, some even preferring them to playing the actual game itself. This was when I wondered if this experience violated Roblox's community standards, as this was the first time I've encountered any sort of gambling on the site. As it turns out, Roblox allows depictions of gambling in experiences, as long as no real money or the site's online currency Robux changes hands. This is an odd choice in policy, considering that the site has over 28 million daily active users below the age of 13. As dubious as Roblox's terms are, the risk of harm to minors is relatively small, as these gambling-related experiences are confined within their platform, and the chance of losing real money is virtually none. However, upon deeper investigation, there are third-party sites in violation of Roblox's terms of standards that do allow users to gamble with Robux. Launched in February of 2022, Bloxflip was founded as the first site to offer users the ability to gamble with Robux. Sponsored by Bloxflip, the YouTuber Rozone noted that unlike others, this site was the first to allow users to gamble in values less than 1,000 Robux. Previously, sites existed where users could only gamble with valued Roblox limited items worth thousands of Robux or more. On Bloxflip, players can now gamble with any amount they desire, making the barrier to entry very low. At first sight, Bloxflip appears to be similar to any other crypto gambling site, but upon closer look, there are critical differences. First and foremost, Bloxflip claims that they are not a gambling site, stating in their terms of services, instead, we offer entertaining online games involving skin betting. On the site, users link their Roblox account and deposit Robux into this third-party site using Bloxflip's peer-to-peer system. This means that anyone with a Roblox account and any amount of Robux or valued limited items can participate in Bloxflip's games. One key aspect to note is Bloxflip's claims of not being a gambling service, despite operating on Robux, which has to be purchased by users with real money and are valued on gaming exchange sites. That is to say that since Roblox is a valued virtual currency, Bloxflip's effects on players can be understood in the same terms as other online casinos, despite their claims of not being one. Even though many would argue that online gambling is a lesser evil than spending your time at the casino, research on the topic indicates otherwise. In a physical setting of the casino, studies suggest that physical elements in the environment, such as poker chips or cards, and the presence of other people lead to a much higher amount of self-awareness. According to gamblers who were interviewed, this heightened amount of awareness helped them keep track of their money and avoid overspending. In an online environment, users claim to have more trouble with managing their spending, with one gambler stating,
"It's just like playing video games. You lay down, it doesn't seem like you're losing money because it's just like playing a game, and you don't have the actual piece to touch. You just don't think about it and you tend to bet more."
Furthermore, gambling online from home means that gamblers on average are much more likely to be under greater influence of drugs and alcohol, further impairing their abilities for self-monitoring and self-control. As pointed out by researchers, games that offer a fast, arousing span of play, frequent wins, and the opportunity for rapid replays are associated with problem gambling. It is not surprising then that by capitalizing on the addictive nature of online gambling and occupying the Roblox niche, Bloxflip has managed to establish itself as a site used by hundreds of thousands. With the rate of gambling addiction being 4 times higher in online gambling, sites like Bloxflip are estimated to make 30 to 50% of their revenue from those classified as problem gamblers. Most concerning in tandem with all of the above, however, is the fact that Bloxflip advertising methods have been accused of explicitly targeting minors. On January 15th, 2023, Roblox Trading News would make a tweet calling out the YouTuber UwuCuteSingle for promoting Bloxflip to the millions of young viewers who watches her channel. Despite Bloxflip stating that they only allow users 18 and over to participate in their website, this incident exposed their targeting of minors from advertising partners. The YouTuber Schlepp, who made a series of videos covering the incident, would demand,
"If I was Roblox, I would sue the people doing these gambling websites and I would remove this creator off of their platform."
Despite these public outcries gaining millions of views and traction, nothing would change, and Bloxflip continues to be in operation at the time of writing. It is clear by this point that the largest danger posed by Bloxflip is its danger to minors, who are able to freely link their Roblox account as there are no age verification systems present. Many public health professionals have called for the protection of minors, warning that the vast majority of problem gamblers start gambling before the age of 20 years, some as early as 8 to 12 years of age. Problem gambling is synonymous with gambling addiction, defined as the inability to control your spending and time spent engaged in gambling. For many, gambling frustrations may seem more directed at losing money here and there, but public health specialists report that people who develop a gambling addiction suffer serious issues from loss of control to stress and worry that affects sleep, alongside relationship conflicts and failure to perform daily tasks. Studies show that children's risk of developing a gambling addiction is 2 or 3 times as high as adults. As a result, researchers warn that the most responsible thing to do is to limit the overall number of children exposed to gambling, as fewer young gamblers means a lower number of those potentially at risk. In his video, a proponent of Bloxflip would argue,
"So it's an 18+ site. If people somehow manage to go under when they're under 18, is that the site's fault? No, it's not."
Although Bloxflip poses a major threat to minors, its terms of services clearly state that it does not allow users under 18 to participate. Although Bloxflip clearly benefits from youth problem gamblers contributing potentially millions of dollars worth of revenue, it is hard to definitively prove predatory behavior on their part, especially without access to company data or transparency. However, using the precedence of dozens of studies relating to the topic of internet gambling, 3 words exposes the leviathan that lurks beneath the curtain: corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, CSR for short, refers to what the public expects of businesses. Although economic theories from the time of Adam Smith dictates that the only responsibility a corporation has is to make profit for its shareholders, modern economists have developed a model to evaluate a company's obligation to society. The application of CSR as an industry standard measure will thus allow us to determine if Bloxflip is an ethical business and evaluate its points of failure. According to Palazzo and Richter's model, corporate social responsibility is divided into 3 levels. The instrumental level refers to a corporation's ability to deliver products and services to the customer. The transactional level refers to a company's compliance with rules and moral integrity. The transformational level refers to a corporation's benevolence, going beyond self-interest for the common good. Many online gambling sites have been subjected to this framework, and the conclusion that has been made is that as an inherently harmful industry, there's no way for these companies to be classified as socially responsible. Despite that, it is still important that these companies be held accountable, and that they are able to at least reach the transactional level of CSR. Right off the bat, Bloxflip seems to perform okay at the instrumental level, being able to offer relatively fair games to most users. However, there are allegations from those such as the YouTuber Alex, who claim that Roblox gambling sites rig the chances for people to agree to promote them and have 99% win rates. As a third-party platform, Bloxflip has no connection to Roblox, and users run the risk of being banned from their Roblox accounts. On the other hand, Bloxflip's lack of corporate social responsibility policies beyond the first level is highly concerning. CSR gambling regulations since the early 2000s have required gambling sites to ensure that children and vulnerable individuals are protected, and that assistance is made possible to those with gambling problems. Many other gambling sites falling under the jurisdiction of countries such as the UK have implemented policies to these effects. Bloxflip has shown failures on both counts for two reasons. Firstly, they do not have an age verification system and anyone can create an account, meaning that there are no expected safeguards in place. Minors whose parents would have otherwise consented to giving them money to gamble are easily blindsided, as Robux bought for their kids are channeled into these activities. Second, there are no resources offered to help and protect individuals who are classified as problem gamblers. The only thing resembling a corporate social responsibility measure is buried deep inside their terms of services, where they inform parents that they can find tools to prevent their minors from accessing the site by typing the words parental controls or similar terms into an internet search engine. Clearly, Bloxflip does not care about actually protecting minors. With advertisement methods that put minors at risk and a failure to implement industry-standard corporate social responsibility measures, it is clear that Bloxflip has no interest in anything except profits, even at the expense of contributing to youth gambling addiction. To prevent sites like these from operating, Roblox should implement stricter monitoring activities on peer-to-peer transactions and initiate legal action against these sites. Lastly, if Bloxflip is truly committed to providing a unique experience to legal adults and operating in a responsible manner, as they claim, they should look into the aforementioned policies to reverse their current public perception as a predatory site that makes millions off the back of at-risk minors.